Hi, I'm Chef Raymond Arpke, and along with my wife, I've owned and operated Euphemia Haye restaurant for the past 35 years. Today I'm going to make a little Christmas special for you, sauerbraten, and let's get started. So we're going to be making a marinade, and that's going to start with some red wine and some red wine vinegar. To that, we're going to add some white sugar, and you want to make sure your ingredients are nice and cold so that you keep your meat nice and cold during the marinating period. I'm going to whisk the sugar really good into this marinade. I'm also going to add some bay leaf, some peppercorn, some clove, and some thyme. Now I'm going to add carrots, onions, and celery. They just need to be diced up, and they don't have to be any particular size. They can be large, small, but we want carrots, onions, and celery in this marinade as well. In goes the meat. Today we're using a chuck roast. You use a lesser cut of meat because it's going to cook for a long time. In goes the marinade. Make sure all that sugar is dissolved. This is going to sit in your refrigerator for 4 to 6 days. Every day you're going to turn it twice, like this. And you always want to make sure that the meat is always covered with the marinade. And we're going to take some, you can use beef fat, you can use olive oil. Today we're using clarified butter. And then we're going to take our meat and we're going to dry it off good, seasoned with a good amount of salt and pepper. Put it in our pan, the dry side. We're going to dry the other side out. Pepper and salt. See how it's coming along there nicely? It's browning up. So now we're going to do the same thing with the other side. Once we're brown, we're going to dump off any excess fat that we don't need in there. And now the marinade is going to go back into the pot. We'll cover this nicely. If you move the mirepoix, or the carrots, onions, and celeries to the corner, it will displace some of that liquid and cover the meat nicely. And we're going to bring this to a boil. Okay, once we've achieved this boil we have here, we're going to cover the pot and put it in a 375-degree oven. And this is our completed roasting of the sauerbraten. And look at that meat at 210. So there's our roast. It almost falls apart. We're just going to let that rest for a few minutes. Meanwhile, we're going to take our marinade and strain it. And this is good to the last drop. Make sure you get everything out of the pot. And I'm actually going to take a ladle here and try and press some of these vegetables through the screen. What you're doing here is pulverizing these vegetables that have basically cooked for 2.5 hours. The more of this you put in, the less thickening agent you have to put in, because these vegetables actually help thicken the sauce. I'm going to add a pinch of salt, a little bit of pepper, and reduce it to about 3.5 cups. I've taken some ginger snaps, just some store-bought ginger snaps, and run them through my food processor, and we're going to use these ginger snaps to thicken our gravy. It's probably going to take 5 to 8 minutes for it to thicken to its fullest, so you want to make sure that you don't put too much in there. I can see that this is already going to be enough ginger snap in there. After it's reduced and thickened, we're going to add some dried currants, or in this case, today I'm using dried cherries. And we're going to let this sit now until those cherries plump up. We have our beautiful, well done, tender chuck roast here, so we're just going to cut it into some nice 1/2 inch pieces. Plate it up. And as promised, we're going to serve this with potato dumpling, or Kartoffelknoedel by any other name, and then some Bavarian red cabbage, which is also sweet and sour. Okay, we'll just put a little bit of the sauce with the plumped up cherries in it, and that's our dish. Because of my German background, this is my traditional holiday dish: sauerbraten with red cabbage and potato dumpling. Happy holidays from Euphemia Haye and all of my staff, myself, and my wife. Special thanks to USF Sarasota Manatee Culinary Innovation Lab and the Sarasota Manatee Originals. Thanks for joining me in the kitchen.